Hi, and welcome to episode 2 of See Maven Knit. I am Maven Knits from mavenknits.com, and this is my YouTube channel. Today is the second week, and already I'm a little bit late, of course. My BFF was here for yesterday. We spent some time in the forest instead of being here in front of the computer. Better deal, I think. And yeah, in case you missed what we're up to, every week we just gather right here and knit, or you could crochet, cross stitch, you can even sew. I'll try and talk loud. Yeah, so crafting in groups is always way more fun, but sometimes we don't have groups, and so we have to create cyber groups. So here we are. Today I am working on the sleeves of the Stonecutter's cardigan that I was working on last week. I was just about finished the back, I think, and so I finished that off. I think on the weekend, and then I started these puppies here, so that's good. I've been considering a lot as I'm knitting and taking on bigger projects that I sort of get ahead of myself, and I think, oh yeah, I'm like 90% done when I'm done all the actual big knitting pieces. But I realize that the sewing up is more like 30%, especially if there's button bands, and because it doesn't always go together very well, and then you have to take it out, and then it takes way longer than even knitting an entire sleeve. So here we are. I would consider myself maybe 50% done the sweater, 50, 60, maybe 50. I've decided to knit the sleeves 2 at a time here. Yeah, it's kind of weird. There's a lady at Knitting who does it, and she does it on straight needles, and I thought that would be easier because I was getting all confused. I don't know if that's ever happened to you when you're trying to knit things 2 at a time, is that you'll knit kind of back and forth on one for a little while, and then you realize that you're like an inch longer on your second one. But I don't think that knitting on straights would help that at all. I think it's really just the ability to concentrate while I'm knitting. Yeah. So I'm gonna get down to work on that, and then I'll probably have to wind some yarn balls. I'd love to hear what you're making, and if you have some pictures to send them, or link to Ravelry, link to your profile. That would be cool, because then I can see what you're doing. And yeah, so enjoy. So last week, I talked a little bit about the whole doing this in one take and not being all perfectionist about it. So it was pretty interesting because I was typing out the closed captioning and I couldn't believe how many times I said like or And I mean, I took Toastmasters, so I guess that sort of, it's in my brain, but I couldn't believe it. And I also noticed that I knit, when I talk really slowly. So I think it's funny. And I think that despite not, being all perfectionist about it, I'm gonna change some things because there are things that I noticed that I didn't really like. And I think I'm not gonna talk and knit at the same time. At least for a while until I get less nervous. Because it's too slow. And it would be weird to listen to, I think, if you didn't know me. So there's that, and I'm also gonna attempt to remove like from my vocabulary. I don't know if you are in the same generation as me, but I don't even notice little kids saying like as much as I do, or even teenagers. It's funny, and I notice it in my generation a lot with my friends, or yeah, all of us. We all do it. And it's driven me crazy for years, and I wanted to get rid of it, and I will attempt it, and then I will forget. And so I feel like this is a good way, because when I'm going through, I can count how many times I've said it. So that's pretty fun. That's what I'm going to do, though. Yeah. So, what's your word? I mean, I feel like, see, that's an okay use of like. I feel that everyone probably has a word that they use that drives them crazy, that they wish they didn't. I was just reading on Susan Weed's Facebook today. She's an herbalist from the States. She hates the word clean. It really bothers her. So I remember training with her and not being allowed to use that word. Until this day, I still feel weird when I say it. So yeah, I'd love to know, what's your word? What do you say all the time that you wish you didn't? Okay. I don't know if you could hear the kids that are outside, but that's one thing I really love about living in Nanaimo, is that there are kids everywhere, and they ride their bikes, that whole like be back before the lights come on the street. I feel like that happens here still. And I don't know if it's just because we're on the island or it's kind of a smaller city, but I love that, and I love hearing the kids walking home from school. It reminds me of when I was a kid. Okay, well, guess what I forgot to do before I started was go pee. So now I need a pee break. Okay, so we will all take a pee break. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. I just imagine that it's like when Ellen goes on TV and then everybody's clapping. No? Well, it could happen. One day I'll have a knitting show and I will sit and knit and there will be knitters in the audience and we'll have knitting guests. Wouldn't that be awesome? Be very niche. I think it would be difficult to fund. But maybe Ravelry will have a channel one day. That would be just, I don't know. It would be awesome. Okay. I gotta fix that screen thing. I thought that I mixed them up. Did you see the look of panic in my eyes? Probably not, because I was looking down, but it was sort of like, yeah. It's not so bad if I mix them up, but I want them to be the same. We talked about this. I remember talking about this last week, about the sleeves that are like, no. Anyway, I realize I've done something kind of amusing. I'm just going to put this on top so that I know I have to do that. I went for a walk today, this afternoon, before I started, and I did not have a snack when I came back. I did not pee when I came back. And I sat down and I sort of let my face like get not red anymore. And yeah, now I am hungry. At first I am peeing on air, and now I am hungry on air. So I'm gonna have a snack. Let's have a snack. It's snack time. What you eating? I got applesauce. Just plain. I like the berry kind the best, but we ran out. I said it again. So let's talk about my walk, because it was interesting. For me, anyway. Maybe, hopefully for you. I said it again. So I went for a walk, and I walked pretty far. I walked down to the dam. And the interesting thing was that I was by myself, and I got there, and it was pretty chill. Like, there weren't a lot of people, and I said it again. It was just nice. It's sunny, a little bit of wind. And I was walking on the main path, and then I realized that the bridge is all under construction, so I didn't really want to be by the construction. I didn't want to walk by the road, so I was going to walk on the smaller paths that kind of go in between the big path. And I started walking down there, and I just started feeling really uncomfortable. And I get this sometimes. It might be totally irrational, but I have a fear of being kidnapped or, things that happen to women when they're alone with no dog. So it was not pleasant. So I turned around and went back on the main path, and that was one of those moments where I wish I had a really big dog. But yeah, do you feel that way? I mean, I think a lot of women, or smaller people, or people with disabilities, or old people, or, smaller people, there is that weird kind of, you're slightly less safe than larger people with muscles and the ability to defend themselves. I do have a disability, and so I can't even really run that fast. And then, what am I going to do? I feel like I have my water bottle, and they're just going to, beat me up with my water bottle. So, it's kind of a bummer. I don't know. I'd love to hear about your experiences, though. I mean, if you want to talk about, a horrible experience, then I'm sure that people would support you and want to hear that, too. But don't feel that you have to share that. I was thinking more your experience of, when you're walking alone at night and you run the whole way home because you're terrified. That sort of feeling, for sure. Yeah, I don't quite know what to do with that aside from get a really big dog. Delicious snack time done. Back to knitting. So I turned off my phone sounds, but for some reason it's buzzing, so I'm just gonna fix that. Maybe I can just put it over here. Yarn is a great silencer for things. Okay. I kind of feel like I didn't increase on this, which is strange. Did I just do all of that knitting for nothing? Okay. Okay. Hold your horses. Yeah. Yeah, kinda. So, but not on this side. No. Nope, definitely on that side too. Ah, that's unpleasant. Okay, well, we're gonna have to address that situation. I think that I can fudge it. How do you feel about fudging? Just gotta get my tool. My special purple crochet hook. Okay, so do you want to talk a little bit about doing a make one, kind of back further in your knitting? So you can't see it super well. I don't know if this isn't a real tutorial. I'm pointing things out. So this is my little pattern. Oops. Okay. This is my little pattern, and every time the larger pattern repeats over on the cables. So when all of the cables turn at the same time, then I'm supposed to increase one over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pluck one out of the universe, and in pattern I'm going to chain it up here. Which is going to be a bit strange, but Okay, so there's one. Second one. This is gonna, yeah. This really isn't the best way to do it, I don't think, but. Especially because this side is way tighter than the other side. Something to watch for, I think. there's two. That guy's tight though. So hopefully that will loosen up a little bit. So one thing that I've always found useful is that if you have to pick something up from the edge, or say you've dropped a stitch right before the last loop, it's easier to put the last loop onto your needle and then work the thing back up and then deal with that first loop and put the second loop on, because otherwise you risk this guy getting like running down. Not good. Okay, there's three. It might have been faster to rip it out and knit it again. Holy crap. It's been 55 minutes. This is what happens when I take a pee break and a snack break during our show. Okay, I'll finish this row, hopefully, and then we'll say our farewells. Okay, I'll pick up that last little section after. Okay, so question. Was it better that I didn't talk while I knitted today? Not that I talk super fast anyway, I don't think. I think a lot while I talk. But yeah, or is it more fun if I just talk whenever I feel like it? Let me know. And post what you're knitting, and maybe a link to your Ravelry profile, or if you don't feel like putting your Ravelry profile just like white out there, you could friend me on Ravelry, and that would be cool. Also, yeah, I'm totally gonna be around next Thursday, so we'll go back to Thursday. And as usual, there will be closed captioning for people who can't hear super well. Although I realize that means you have to be able to knit and look at the screen at the same time, so we do what we can. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I kind of wanted to give you a progress report on my socks, but I didn't really do much. I knitted like one stripe. Next week, hopefully, I'll be able to give you a little progress report on my butterfly that I'm going to be cross-stitching. But we'll see. I hope it goes well. I hope I like it. It sort of seems like coloring, but with string. And that seems fun, because, you know, knitting, you've got only one color happening here, and then, well, I mean, you could have variegated yarn in multiple colors, but I'm not very good at knitting with my left hand, so it's hard for me. I don't know. I would really like to learn how to knit with more colors. But first, cross stitch. So, basically how it works is that if you like what you saw, go ahead and like downstairs there. Doop, doop. Or if you don't like it, then you can say don't like, but I would also love it if you told me what you like more, because maybe you have a great idea that I don't know about, and then we can do that. Unless it's like unless I don't like it, in which case maybe we're just not meant to be friends. And that's cool. So, like it, you can subscribe if you want, but you know I'm here every week, so whatever. it's up to you. And thanks for tuning in. I really enjoyed hanging out. We'll see you next week. Bye!